a potential nuclear bomb just got dropped on the Marvel Rivals community in the same way that a nuclear bomb got dropped on the Overwatch community. And this is just due to one individual saying that he's going to stop playing Overwatch and move on to Marvel Rivals. And if you're in any capacity familiar with either of these spaces, you probably already know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Chud Gamer for Hope. Now, like, this is someone who I've known about for such a long time just because he is unbelievably chuddy on the internet. He's just an absolute terrible person. And I think honestly the most famous like picture of him of all time is him getting attacked by like 7 or 8 different types of controversies that someone could find, and he's trying to address them all in one video. You know, the Overwatch community kind of accept them with open arms, and obviously I know a lot of people were looking at him as like a lolcow just to laugh at, but I know a lot of people also kind of just didn't even view him as a terrible person. And the bad things that he did when he was playing Overwatch was the first time they've ever heard of him being a bad person. I was obviously like kind of surprised. I was really surprised that a lot of people just were not actually aware of just how bad of a person Gaming for Hope is. He's been a bad person on the internet for such a long amount of time, just such an extended period of time. And obviously, the thing I'm talking about when he finally got exposed playing Overwatch was that, like he said, he wanted to do some charity work, obviously, and then the charity that he ended up doing was donating to conversion therapies, which have been known to torture children, and have also been known to never work in any capacity in any way whatsoever. And then he also decided that it wasn't aligned with his values to donate to the Trevor Project, which prevents people from committing suicide. So that was kind of like the come to Jesus moment for a lot of people. Ironically, speaking of Gaming for Hope, where that they actually like realized that the guy they were making fun of for a locale wasn't actually a harmless locale, and that the support and fame that they gave him was actually just him being a terrible person, and allowed him to be a terrible person with the, I guess, quote unquote charitable donations that he was making. That was kind of shocking to me. I guess not a lot of people are willing and capable as I am to find terrible people on the internet and be aware of them. So that was kind of a surprise. But obviously, once this stuff finally came out, obviously, he was a locale, he was being made fun of, but like locale like, kind of does have like an additional lightheartedness to it. And I think this like was the breaking point for it, where it just completely turned the tide on the views that people have towards Gaming for Hope. Where I guess he claims that he was facing like a lot of toxicity, he was facing a lot of hate when it came to the Overwatch community. And now the Overwatch community, from what I understand, is just toxic. There's a lot of toxicity in it. It's like most games where there is a bunch of toxic people in it. But I'm assuming that Gaming for Hope, being a high-profile individual that he is, and that a lot of people know who he is, obviously did not help the fact that he was going to start facing a bunch more toxicity, because he became persona non grata when it came to anyone who knew who he was in the Overwatch community. And also, from what I understand, he was also buying into the Overwatch toxicity, where he was literally blaming his teammates for all of his shortcomings and not actually taking fault of his own. This now becomes a important moment in the Marvel Rivals community. Is, do they make the same mistake of Gaming for Hope, in the sense that they all watch him play Marvel Rivals just to laugh at him, and then donate him money or whatever, give him money and give him subscriptions so that they can like laugh at him and like give him donations that laugh at him, thus repeating the Overwatch cycle, where then more people come in who don't actually know who this guy is, and then say, this guy's just kind of funny to laugh at. And then they don't realize that he's a piece of shit human being. And I'm just very intrigued to see it. I don't think it will, because there is like a decent amount of overlap when it comes to these two communities, because they're both like hero shooters that I think a lot of ex-Overwatch players just went over the Marvel Rivals anyway. So they might know. They might have an awareness of this, and I'm hoping it's not. But it's just funny to see like all the people who are also making fun of Gaming for Hope for, leaving Overwatch due to I guess the toxicity that he was facing, even though once again, kind of warranted in every capacity. Like, we have people who've been making like joking TikToks about him moving on, like just jokes about him coming into the community. Like this one guy on TikTok right here.
He's leaving, man. Well, you know exactly where the he's gonna leave Overwatch to come to, right? He's gonna leave Overwatch to come here. There's only one other hero shooter, motherfucker. It's right here.
Starting tomorrow, I'll be starting with revisiting Marvel Rivals by popular request.
I don't like to be correct a lot of times. This is one of those times. Ladies and gentlemen, keep that man out of this fucking games community. You wanna come to my house? No. So you left Overwatch because it was too toxic. To come to Rivals, we're just ex-Overwatch players, man. All we do is fucking complain. People are throwing my games. Wait till you get Gaming for Hope.
So it seems to me like Marvel Rivals is already doing a better job at fighting off the chuddiness that Gaming for Hope will bring, because they are aware of who he is. Like I said, once again, they already know who he is, and they're aware of the idiocy that he brings. And it's just funny that he believes that he's gonna not face any sort of toxicity in any capacity in Marvel Rivals. Where like even I can add on to the toxicity of Marvel Rivals, where I literally have a story about this that I think I've told before, where a dude legitimately called me multiple slurs, one of which I had to look up, and then said I'm an idiot for being vaccinated while playing Marvel Rivals. And this was all spurned due to the fact that I said, "Hey man, can you stop being toxic and try to win the game?" And he did all that to me. So I honestly am curious to see how this goes when once again he believes that Marvel Rivals is a sanctum from toxicity in video games. And there's just a couple more like joke tweets that I've seen about it, making fun of it. Like obviously some people are poking fun at the Marvel Rivals community, which is, throwing stones from glass houses because you play Overwatch. He ironically fits the Marvel Rivals community way better. Bigoted average, at best gamer who thinks he's better than his team. I really can't comment on this because I haven't played Overwatch in a while and I haven't played Marvel Rivals in a while, but maybe that's where the tide has shifted, where just Marvel Rivals is like the Chud Overwatch or something like that. I have legitimately no idea because once again, Marvel Rivals, I mean, not Marvel Rivals, Overwatch was able to give a community to Gaming for Hope when once again he holds the ideas that he has. And obviously people are kind of celebrating him leaving Overwatch because like once again, because people are talking about like his previous views on charitable donations were like this is kind of what I've said before, but just to reiterate the fact, disproportionate level of hatred, brother, do you donate to anti-LGBTQ organizations? Can you be so real for yourself? And like, yeah, it's kind of just pointing out the irony with this dude that he's like saying, "Oh, I'm facing such a disproportionate level of hate. That's why I'm leaving the community." When once again, like he has donated to legitimately conversion therapies, which conversion therapies have done like stuff like electroshock therapy on children, and as a result, has effectively tortured children. Like, I don't understand how you can claim that you're facing hate when you donate on just some of the most hateful places and like possible things you could give money to. And like this is just something I'm gonna keep note of, just because I unfortunately do get a bunch of Gaming for Hope stuff on my feed because I think it's funny to see what he's doing, just so that if he does something bad and people are saying like, "What the fuck? He's doing this bad thing." I would never expect that from Gaming for Hope. I can say like, "Why did you not expect this?" Here's the history of time of Gaming for Hope being a piece of shit. I feel like the only time he was even, like, close to being in the right when it came to his takes on the internet was when he was beefing with the faithful sheriff, and that's just because like, those are 2 dumbasses, and it's just a race to the bottom for who's the stupidest person of all time between those 2. Maybe he'll get immediately kicked out of the Marvel Rivals community because 'cause they're aware of the storm that is coming. They are aware the signs have been blared. People know who he is. He's been exposed from Overwatch, and those 2 communities overlap. Hopefully, they'll be ready to just immediately kick him out too. That's all I wanted to talk about for today, though, so thank you for watching. Goodbye.